A new study has found the waistlines of Australian adults are increasing faster than body weight. Researchers from Deakin and Monash universities found we need to re-evaluate how we monitor overweight and obesity, as those who are overweight based on waist circumference aren't necessarily overweight based on the measure we use, body mass index, BMI. So by continuing to use BMI, an indicator of weight for height, we are underestimating the prevalence of obesity in the Australian population. Our study compared 3 surveys of the Australian population, in 1989, 2000 and 2012. It included Australian adults aged 25 to 69 years with information on measured height, weight, measured using electronic scales, and waist circumference, measured using a flexible steel measuring tape across the abdomen. Read more. Explainer, overweight, obese, BMI, what does it all mean? We found the average body weight of Australian adults increased by 5.4 kilograms for women and 7 kilograms for men over the 23-year period. The average waist circumference increased by 10.7 centimeters for women and 7.3 centimeters for men. We used a mathematical approach called linear regression, which allowed us to compare individuals of the same age, height and weight in 1989 and 2012. We could then estimate whether their waist circumference was the same. If waist circumference and body weight were increasing to the same extent, we would expect to see no difference in waist circumference over time. Instead, we found waist circumference for individuals of the same body weight, height and age increased by 6.7 centimeters among women and 2.8 centimeters among men since 1989. As an example, this means that the average waist circumference for a 45-year-old, 162 centimeters, 64 kilograms woman in 1989 is 75 centimeters, and the average waist circumference of the same woman in 2012 is 82 centimeters, 7 centimeters greater. We observed this phenomenon across all groups we analyzed. That included age group, smoking status, current, former and those who've never smoked, education level, whether high school was completed, and BMI category, normal weight, overweight or obese. Read more. Does my BMI look big in this? And does it really matter? How can waistlines expand more than weight? Studies internationally, across a number of high and low-income countries, have also reported greater increases in waist circumference than would be expected based on increases in body weight. While we can't deduce why this phenomenon is occurring from the current study, nor previous studies, there are a number of hypotheses. The most likely explanation is that, as a result of increasingly sedentary lifestyles, individuals now have relatively less muscle mass and relatively more body fat. So this results in a greater body volume for the same body weight. Why does this matter? The major implication of this is that women and men are now at an increased risk of disease for the same body weight. We know individuals who have an obese waist circumference, greater than 88 centimeters for women or greater than 102 centimeters for men, without having an obese BMI greater than 30, have a similar risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure and death as those who we would typically think of as obese. That is, those who have a high waist circumference and BMI.